Okay guys, thanks for joining us. This is a giant killing simulation. What I've done is I've put Bradford in the Premier League to replace Burnley. Now many will know over the last few years Bradford have done some very interesting results. They beat Chelsea and Sunderland just this season. They are the giant killers of low league at the minute. So the idea of this is to see how Bradford would do playing top division clubs every season, week in, week out, with the squad they've got currently. Maybe they'll add one or two signings, maybe they won't. That's also another interesting factor, see who they can sign to keep them in the Premier League, maybe. Now, I'm going to do two season simulations. First one is with Bradford having the reputation, as you see on the left hand side, of 2-star national. Now, that is how they start the game. Then what we'll do is we'll reload and do it again, but I've done a separate database with Bradford having 6,500 for their reputation, which is slightly higher than Southampton. So, mid-table Premier League. The reason behind this is twofold. One, to see how Bradford do two separate times I simulate, basically, so it gets a better idea of how a giant killing club can do on a regular basis in the Premier League, but also to see what the difference the reputation makes in the game. Will having a high reputation make them win more games? It's definitely an interesting idea which I thought of doing for the second season simulation, so join me in a minute after season 1 and we will see how Bradford have done in their first season in the Barclays Premier League. Okay guys, so we are back. It's the end of season 1. Now a chance to have a look, see how Bradford did as weekly giant killers. So as you see, we on the odds screen before the season had started, they were 5,000 to 1. So I don't think the media thought they would do quite well, but let's go onto the profile and see how they did. Okay, so they finished rock bottom. They won 6, drew 2, lost 30. Scoring 32, conceding 86, finishing on 20 points. So, not the best season for Bradford. Let's check out, see how they did in fixtures wise. So, under the schedule. Okay, so they went out the Capital One Cup to Crystal Palace. Started the league with a couple of defeats. They actually won their third game of the season, beating Stoke 3-0. So, good victory there. But they got 1-1 draw as well against Southampton. Going down, they then lost a few, but they actually did a giant kill and they beat Liverpool at home 1-0. So, good result for them there before they went on a terrible run. Then they beat Hull City at home 2-1. Lost a couple, but then managed a 1-0 victory away to Aston Villa, so that's a good result for them. And they beat Sunderland at home 3-2. Before they drew away to Leicester near the end of the season before beating West Ham at home. So nothing really standing out apart from the Liverpool at home game. We're just going to quickly check the transfers, see who they managed to bring in to help them try to battle in the Premier League transfer history. Okay, so as you see here, they brought in this guy, dreadful goalkeeper, not Premier League standard. Abdoulaye Faye, experienced but not Premier League standard anymore. They brought in a guy on loan from Inter Milan. He's only 18 years old, a striker, decent. So that's a good sign. Kebby, a very shocking right back. And Agnes, who is a I'd say League One standard centre back. So they brought in the level of reputation they are. Obviously, no one come to them just because they're in the Premier League, basically. So yeah, Bradford went down, and they've got a decent balance because of it, so I'm sure that pleased them. And the reputation hasn't improved throughout the season. It's actually gone from national to regional, which is strange. But yeah, that is the end of season 1. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to shut this database down, reload a new database with a high reputation. So bear with me 1 second. Okay, so welcome back. Now we are ready to start again. Again, 8th of June 2014, back to the start. Now as you will see, the difference, they started with 2-star last time, they're now 3.5-star. So really interesting to see what difference that makes. You've still got the exact same squad as they had on the first run through. So now we get to see what difference the reputation makes to the season. Once again, we will return on the expectation for the season, then jump onto the league table. So bear with me 1 second. I will holiday through one season and see you again in a second. Okay guys, so welcome back. We're at the end of May. another season is over, so again a chance to have a look, see how Bradford did, but this time with the high reputation. Now, as you see, even though they had the high reputation, I assume it's due to the play quality they have at the start. They were predicted 2,000 to 1 to win the title, so they were 5,000 to 1 last time, so they hit 3,000 to 1 better, but still horrendous. So now let's see how they actually did in the league with the high reputation. Okay, so that's interesting. They finished bottom, and they finished with 5 points less than last season and 3 wins less. So really interesting. I'm quite surprised by that. I thought with a high reputation, as a lot of people have preached, saying football managers based on reputation, I lose because of the reputation of the other club. So I think this puts it to bed slightly. So what we're going to do is have a look, see at Bradford's fixtures, see who they actually picked up the victories against. Did they pull off any giant killings? What I would say is, just quickly, is you see Phil Parkinson's still in charge, so even with the high reputation, they still didn't sack the manager. They dropped half a star. I've noticed they started 3.5 star this season, if you remember. What I would say is I've noticed there straight away is Abdullahi Fai is the key player. They signed him in the first one also, so both scenarios here which we've simulated, they've signed the same person. But let's just quickly check schedule before the transfers. Now again, they went out in the Capital One Cup, and again in the FA Cup. So let's go down. They had a worse start to the season, very bad. But they drew away to Liverpool 1-1, so both times they've done well against Liverpool. They beat Southampton away from home 2-1 before a draw against Leicester. Let's go a bit further, right. Then they drew 2-2 with Sunderland. They beat Everton away. They beat Crystal Palace away. They drew at home to Swansea away to Leicester. And that's it. So they did better against the teams around them this time, but didn't pick up any giant killings. Maybe Everton could be almost classed Southampton, but not like they beat Liverpool last time. So it's really interesting, especially with such a high reputation, the reputation linked in. But I'm curious to see who they managed to sign because of the high reputation. Okay, so they managed to bring in Jay Bothroyd on loan. So there's one signing they've managed to make who I don't think they would have been able to attract last time. Actually, we're just going to see what effect he did. He scored 10 goals in 37 games. They also signed Lewis Aird. Former Newcastle player, if I am correct. Career stats? Yes, from Newcastle. But is he Premier League standard? No, and Abdullahi Fai. So they actually signed less people as well, which is interesting. I thought with the high reputation they might have gone out and strengthened the squad dramatically, but they haven't. So the second simulation showed them with a high reputation, and they did worse. They didn't sign as many people. They didn't bring in any talent, really. Jay Bothroyd with 10 goals wasn't too bad, but they needed strength behind that. Because you see, 30 goals scored, 82 conceded. Minus 52 goal difference, so it's no better. So with the high reputation, it made no difference. So it's not all about reputation on Football Manager, which is fantastic to prove with this. So I hope you enjoyed this just little experiment. I just wanted to see how the giant killers would do week in, week out. But I decided to do it over 2 separate simulations just to test with the high reputation. So I'd like to thank you for watching this, and stay tuned to our channel for more random simulations. See you next time.